another episode in this series on pedals that you can't afford or can't get. The Joyo King of Kings can get you the truly regal tone. If you can get around the slightly blasphemous name, the King of Kings from Joyo can get you great overdrive, distortion, and boost tones for a fraction of the cost of its inspiration pedal, the King of Tone from Analog Man. Joyo did give me this pedal, and they did not ask me to do anything with it except make what you want. There's been a lot of videos about transparency and influencing and bias and all that kind of stuff. They gave me a pedal. It sounds really good. I'm going to play it. You are an adult, and you can use your judgment to figure out whether I'm lying to you about this pedal or not. I'm not lying to you. It does sound this good. The original King of Tone, created by Analog Man Mike Pierre, came out in 2003. He built it for Jim Wider from the band, and he based it on a Marshall Blues Breaker. There's a bunch of reasons why the King of Tone is such a great pedal. One, there's two identical sides, and either can be a boost, an overdrive, or a distortion. And you can also have one go into the other or vice versa. The wait list, I think now, is probably over 5 years. I've heard it live. I've never played one. I can't get it. I can't buy it online. And if I do, it'll probably be fake. But you know what I can get is the King of Kings. The King of Kings from Joyo emulates that pedal. So now we're like 2 versions away from a Blues Breaker, right? Blues Breaker was created by Marshall. Analog Man created his own take on the Blues Breaker. Now Joyo did its own take on the King of Tone. There are similarities with the Joyo. I'm not going to do a head-to-head comparison because if you can afford or get a King of Tone, you don't need this pedal. This is for everyone else. This is for us. This is for regular dudes like you and me. Look at me. I'm a regular guy. Yeah. 2 sides. There's a couple things I learned too. Right and left are not identical. The right side has way more volume and gain on tap. It only goes right to left. So this will always go into that, not vice versa. That's okay because you can buy it and it's like $65. Like, I'm willing to put up with these. They're not even shortcomings because I'm comparing it to a pedal I don't own. So these 2 switches. This is diode clipping. This one is feedback clipping. It has very subtle changes on the tone, but it can affect the way it would sit in the mix. Signal chain. Right now we're using my GNL with Lawler Blonde pickups. We're going into the Joyo, and then we're going into the Strymon Iridium on the Punch channel, and then we're going into the Flint, into a York Audio Marshall M25 IR. Here's the signal without. Okay. It's very subtle. I like what it's adding. That's nice. But I really like this when it's pushed up, at least there. Right? It's nice, and it's, I don't want to say transparent. I'm still having that clarity on top. Now you can completely dime the gain, and it still sounds so good on single coils. Yeah. Let's look at these differences. This is right channel. Huge, I mean, probably 2 dBs down and not nearly the same amount of gain, which makes it great for a boost side where you're not trying to add gain. So let me show you how I like to use this boost. If I have single coils, I like to put the tone right about there. So here's perfect. It's the perfect kind of boost I want for a single coil. Let's say I'm here, like, I want a solo. Perfect. It's like it gives you just a little boost, and I probably had too much treble on that. It's almost like a now with more, now with an extra channel. I used to have this old Marshall valve state, and it had like a normal channel, an overdrive, and then a crunch, and then a high gain. You had like all these buttons you kept pressing to get higher and higher and higher. And it reminds me of like just like in the 80s and the 90s, like everything was like more, and we'll give you even more gain and another stage, another channel. Here's a good overdrive channel, and here's a little bit of boost on top. Here's just a little to kick you over the edge, right? Bam! Let's go over these switches, yeah? So this one is the distortion one. So huge volume drop, right? So you gotta compensate here. Hear how kind of rough that is, right? But I feel like that's a great, like, gang, 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 gang. That's a really cool sound there, right? See, and this is where these switches kind of confuse me, right? Like, I'm not quite sure. Okay, there we go. Now I hear it. Yeah. A little bit more clipping. I don't know if you can hear that. It's compressing a little bit, dude. Ooh. Yeah, dude, right on. And then on the left side, it does the same thing except with less gain and quieter. But that's a nice sound too. subtle differences. You know, on that opening track, I would flip a switch, start playing. I'm like, that sounds good. I'd try a new guitar. That sounds good. I'd try a new IR, try a new amp. I'm like, that sounds good. It all sounds good. It was hard to get a bad sound out of this pedal. But it is a very specific sound. If you like that sound, this, you know what I mean? It's like, if you like that, you should buy it. But not everyone wants that out of an Overdrive pedal, right? This is one of my all-time favorite Overdrives, the OCD from Fulltone, rest in peace. Right? Very kind of different tones there. I mean, that's all Overdrive pedals, right? It's like, how much gain does it have? What does it do to your EQ? And also, like, where does it sit on the mids? Because the mids are going to define your drive. Let's try it with the Dream 65. Adding some of the lead boost to give it more mids. It doesn't like a scooped sound. So into a, you know, scooped blackface, it's really not going to give you the tones that you would want. So that's the left side, that's boost, and that actually sounds good. But the right side, it just doesn't sound good on... I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound the way I want it to. And so the King of Tone owners or any of those clones, do you guys use it in front of a Fender blackface? That's not a sound that I would gravitate towards. Let's try some humbuckers. Oh my God, there it is. Yes. Okay, come on. Let's let it rip. Oh! It just sounds so good in front of that punch channel on the Iridium. I bet it would sound awesome in front of a Plexi or a JMP, or a JTM, sorry. Does this beat out a King of Tone? I have no idea. Is it better than a King of Tone? I have no idea. But does it sound good? Yeah, it sounds really good. Does it sound best in front of a Marshall style? Yes, it does. Works with single coils, works with humbuckers, does not work great in front of a blackface or Fender style scooped sound. I suspect the reason it sounds good in front of a Marshall because it's based on the Marshall Bluesbreaker, and so it's probably going into the front of a cranked Marshall. Are there some things I'd like to change? Of course, there's always things I'd like to change. Even if I got a 1992 NSX, I'd still probably change some things on it. Actually, I probably wouldn't. But on this pedal, this is what I would change. I'd need to know what these switches are doing, and I'd like to make the switches more dramatic. They're too, it just sounds a little too close. But again, for $60, totally fine. If it was more of a drastic change, like if one pushed the mids around, if one did like an endless feedback loop or whatever, if it had very specific tonal things, I think that'd be really cool. That being said, like that's probably the only thing I would change in this. I wouldn't change the EQ. I don't need it to sound good. Like the drawback of it not being good in front of a blackface doesn't bother me because I have all these other drive pedals that sound great in front of a Fender style amp. I will have an affiliate link to buy this below, so if you're thinking of buying anything on Amazon, look into your heart. Click the links below. Help a brother in arms out. This is the second of 3 videos that I've done on the pedals that Joyo gave me. The first one was on the Joyo Tauren, a clone of the Klon. Klon clone. Check it out here. Thanks.